You're listening to In Tune here on BBC Radio 3. It's 13 minutes past 6 o'clock. We're off to the opera at 7:30. Weber's Der Freischütz, live from the Proms at the Royal Albert Hall. Opera Siam has come to London too for the very first time. The only professional opera company in Thailand. They're bringing an adaptation of, well, a very old tale, but I will get it all from the horse's mouth. Somtow Sujurit Gun is a great composer and writer in the horror genre you probably know him as. Trisdee Napatulung is conducting. He's a very youthful offspring of this classical canon. But we should say that actually, Somtow, you've really been bringing music for the first time to Bangkok. I mean, is it true you did, before we talk about what you've written, that you brought Wagner's Rheingold, had its premiere in Thailand only recently?
Yes, Wagner's Rheingold and Die Walküre both had. And in fact, the only reason that Siegfried has been delayed is that they're closing the cultural center for repairs. So we've been holding off on that. But it's a rather strange production because it's seen from a very Asian perspective. So as I was mentioning earlier, it's the first time Erders had 4 arms, for example.
Well, you're obviously, I think you can have an international take on Wagner because
very much so.
I say that so greed and godlike figures are common in every society.
Well, it's very interesting because Wolfgang Wagner came to Thailand shortly before, about a year beforehand, and he said, why don't you do Tannhäuser or something more accessible than that? And I said to him, well, actually, in a sense, the Rheingold is more accessible because the idea of having to choose between sexual love and pure love is inconceivable to a Thai, whereas greed and corruption are common to everyone.
Fascinating. Well, Opera Siam coming here for the first time, right. 10 years, and Trisdee, you're conducting.
Yes, I am.
A very sort of youthful figure. Are you typical of a lot of young musicians in Thailand or not? Are there many people who are really interested in we call it Western classical music?
Right. Well, I think that we've got quite a lot of young people who are playing classical, who are playing Western music, studying Western music. But I mean, yeah, it's growing in Bangkok. I mean, obviously it's not like it is here in Europe. But I think what's really exciting about this is the fact that we're bringing all these people, especially young people. I mean, this morning I picked them up, at Heathrow, and the
entire orchestra.
Yes, the entire orchestra. And one somebody saw us and said, they're quite. Are you guys musicians? And I said, yes, we are. This is the entire orchestra. And he said, they're quite young. And I said, yes. Well, apart from the fact that some Asians, look younger than they are.
We fool people. Yeah.
But anyway, they're quite young, but lots of real professionals.
And the young ones are the ones with the passion. You see, we've found that our audiences for even quite arcane or difficult music, the things like entire Mahler symphonies, that consists of very young people. And they're very into it. They're very passionate about it.
Well, you were a great figure in the avant-garde in the past, and you've written all these horror stories and are great celebrated, a great international writer. You've come back to a rather more romantic genre, haven't you, in what you're bringing this time?
Yes, well, I at first, many people accused me of selling out, but I realize now that I've come to a more Asian view of the history of music, you see, because of course, I was completely trained in the West, and we are taught that as a person living today, you're standing on the shoulders of Stockhausen, who's standing on the shoulders of Schoenberg, and by the time you get to Mozart, you have to holler all the way down, and this evolutionary concept is sort of central to Western culture, but in the East, I found that it's as though all the composers were sitting around a table, and one could turn to each one of them, and they were equally distant. And it was sort of a big revelation for me to discover that I didn't have to be afraid to write music in a very romantic vein. If it was something I really wanted to hear, there was no reason why I shouldn't write it.
Well, I don't think we're going to disagree with that at all. No. How would you just describe it, Trisdee? Because you're the young generation. Are the younger people have got this sort of broad view of music as well?
Well, I think so. Yes, because probably one of the reasons is probably you mean in Thailand.
Yeah,
yeah. I think it's true because it's probably because it's so new to us in a way. and so we don't have any real sort of preconceptions, and so I think we're quite open.
Well,
one of the exciting things is if apart from Butterfly and Carmen, any opera there is equally unknown. You see.
That's true.
So you have a sort of you have a carte blanche in a way. You've
sense.
turned to, for the opera you're bringing to us, your second opera. You've turned to I think an old Thai myth. It's a sort of scary figure. Is that right?
Somebody that almost all Thais believe really existed, but it's a myth that I think is prevalent in many cultures. Basically, a pregnant woman dies in childbirth. Her husband is away at a war. He comes back, and she's still there, alive in the house with the child, except that everybody in the village knows that she's actually a ghost.
Yes.
He can't believe it, he can't let go, and they have an idyllic life together, except that she's going around killing everybody in the village. Wow, as a vengeful spirit. And so finally, finally the cat's out of the bag, and he realizes she might not be human, and exorcists are called in, and then the fun starts, you see.
Well, we wish it well, and details of that, we've got just a little touch of it from the Siam Philharmonic with, I think, Nancy Yuan singing. She is the witch-like figure,
witch-like monarch,
hovering around, and here she is singing a lullaby to her dead child. from the opera May Nach by Somtow Gun. And his opera will be here in London. It's Opera Siam at the Bloomsbury Theatre on Thursday the 15th, that is, and Saturday the 17th at 7:30. And young Trisdee Nampatulung conducts, making his London debut. Very interesting it is to have them here too. We're listening to In Tune on BBC Radio 3, Dying Embers. Actually, they're going to be, I see as well, in St George's Cathedral in Southwark on Sunday, doing Mozart and a cantata by Somtow, commissioned a long time ago by Lord Mountbatten.